Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Neutral Zone. I'm women's ice hockey beat reporter Anthony Rossi to preview one of the biggest series, in my opinion, of the year for the Quinnipiac women's ice hockey team as they take on the Colgate Raiders. Now, let's take a look at last year and this year's regular season stats as we see right here. So let's take a look at last year's. First, the Bobcats shut out the Raiders 4-0 in their first meeting in 2021. Sophie Urban, Jess Shriver, Nina Steigoff, Sam Askevich, Agia Vorster, Mobley. Those players just continually carried on into this year, creating a lot more scoring opportunities for the team. And then last year, the overtime loss between the Bobcats and the Raiders. The Raiders scored with Allison Simpson, the defenseman, 38 seconds into overtime. Now, you'll see a trend once we get to this game right here, the 2-1 victory for Quinnipiac. Then let's take a look at this year's first meeting between the Bobcats and the Raiders. Peart, Mobley, Maloney. These are the players that have been scoring points all year. You see them on the top of the charts when you look at the Bobcats stats list. Mobley obviously leading the charge, Maloney right behind her, and basically Peart, Mobad, Chandler, you kind of know it by now. And then let's talk about this overtime. So, and like I said, there's going to be a trend. Olivia Mobley, 35 seconds into overtime, she rips it past Hannah Murphy to give the Bobcats the win in this one. So now let's take a look at last year's ECAC semifinal. As you see right here, here's all the stats from that. Obviously, Corinne Schroeder was in net. Logan Andres did not get time in this one. Hannah Murphy got the time here. Osborne did not. So let's take a look in depth. So obviously the shot total is something that I want to point out, and then the face-offs as well. The face-offs were very interesting because you expect more face-offs to be won by the team that's going to win. But the Bobcats ended up winning 11 more face-offs than the Raiders did, and the Raiders ended up outshooting the Bobcats. This is something that you don't normally see when you take a look at the stat sheet. Obviously, more shots are going to create more opportunities, but the face-offs basically create those shot opportunities, and you don't really see that on the stat sheet. Obviously, Mobley, Peart, Taylor House, and Corinne Schroeder obviously playing in the PHF right now in the Boston Pride, the #1 team there. But these are players that you expect to see now that are producing with Mobley and Peart. And then you see these three right here, Kalti Koltonikova, Daniel Serdachny, and O'Donohoe. These are players that you see now that are continuously creating point opportunities. And then Murphy, 26 saves. Like, these two save percentages are unreal for one game. Now, let's take a look at the playoff outlook. So these are the matchups that are happening this week. Obviously, we have Quinnipiac and Colgate, which I just previewed. And then this Clarkson and Yale is very interesting. I think that personally, this could go both ways. At the beginning, I didn't really see it, but I saw a lot from Michelle Pachesnik in that Clarkson-Cornell series between those two goalies, Dina Frazier and Michelle Pachesnik. Pachesnik has been proving herself all year long. She's a top goalie in the ECAC. And obviously, Pia Dukarik is an unbelievable goaltender. Can't even take that away from her. But these two series, probably going to be the best two series of the entire tournament. I don't know about the final because the final, obviously, if it's Yale versus Colgate, it's going to be close. But if it's Yale versus Quinnipiac, I'm taking Yale all the way. But that's it for this episode of the Neutral Zone. I'm Anthony Rossi reporting for Q30 Sports.